Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive into a fascinating field.
Absolutely.
This time we are talking about container equipment design engineers.
Yeah, right.
And we're not just talking about, designing like your typical Tupperware container here. We're
Right.
talking about the really, high level stuff.
Yeah, the complex stuff.
The systems that are keeping, volatile chemicals under wraps,
Precisely.
making sure that, our world is running smoothly and safely.
Yes, very critical role that often goes unnoticed.
Yeah, exactly. And it seems like you, our listener, you're interested in this as a career path
Yeah, sounds like it.
because you've provided us with some excerpts from RoleCatcher.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily, they've got some great insights for job seekers.
For sure.
So let's dive in.
Yeah, let's unpack this.
What does a container equipment design engineer actually do all day?
Yeah, so it's much more than just drawing up boxes.
Right.
These are the folks that ensure things like, those big tanks you see in industrial areas.
Yeah.
Or the systems that transport hazardous materials. They make sure that stuff is safe.
Right.
It's a lot of physics.
Okay.
A lot of understanding how materials behave under pressure and stress.
Yeah, because we're talking like, boilers, pressure vessels.
Exactly. High-stakes stuff.
Right. If those calculations are off,
Oh, yeah. Big problems.
not good.
Catastrophic, even.
So RoleCatcher talks about the need for deep, knowledge of materials.
Absolutely. You can't just slap any old metal together and call it a container. You're dealing with corrosive chemicals, sometimes extreme temperatures. They have to factor in things like, wear and tear over time.
Right, degradation.
Exact. All of that has to be considered from the start.
So it's almost like a puzzle, but with really high stakes.
Like a high-stakes puzzle, exact.
And then you've got the pressure tolerances on top of that.
Oh, yeah. That's where the real engineering comes in.
I mean, I'm imagining like if you miscalculate that.
Let's just say you don't want to be around if that happens.
Right, it's going to be a bad day.
More like a bad decade, probably, for everyone involved.
Yeah, exactly.
But in all seriousness, those pressure calculations, they're critical.
They are dealing with volatile gases, things that could,
Go boom.
yeah,
But
basically.
not just internal pressure either.
Oh,
External factors,
yeah.
weather conditions, even potential impacts.
Like somebody, bumping into it with a forklift or something.
Exactly. It all has to be accounted for.
Wow, so you're designing for safety, but you're also designing for efficiency.
Absolutely. You got it.
Because I imagine these industries, they need things to be,
Yeah, they want it all safe and streamlined.
yeah, exactly.
And that's where a good container equipment design engineer really shines.
Right.
Finding that balance between being super safe and making sure things run smoothly.
Okay, so it's not just about containing, it's about optimizing.
100%. Optimizing for safety, for cost, for everything.
And I'm guessing this kind of expertise is in high demand across a bunch of industries.
Oh, you bet. It's not just your, stereotypical heavy industries either.
Right, because you think of like, okay, chemical plants,
Oil and gas,
manufacturing.
and it goes way beyond that.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Think pharmaceuticals,
Okay.
food and beverage,
Oh, wow.
even agriculture, anything that
Mhm.
needs to be stored safely and transported.
Interesting.
You probably have a container equipment design engineer working behind the scenes.
So it's a surprisingly diverse field then.
It really is.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on under the surface.
That's fascinating. And it sounds like a career that's, in demand, potentially lucrative.
Yeah, RoleCatcher definitely highlights those perks.
But they also mentioned the downsides, the long hours, the high stress.
Yeah, it's not all sunshine and roses.
Right. It makes you wonder what kind of person thrives in that environment.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Like, it definitely takes a certain personality type.
Right.
Someone who can, handle the pressure
Yeah.
literally, but also someone who's energized by it.
Yeah, okay.
Those tight deadlines, the constant problem solving.
Right.
For some people, that's a nightmare.
Sure.
For others, it's like a dream job.
Yeah. It's like those people who love doing like, those really complex Sudoku puzzles or something.
Exactly.
They just thrive on that kind of pressure.
And let's not forget the teamwork aspect.
Oh, right. RoleCatcher mentioned that.
Yeah, these engineers, they're not just holed up in a cubicle all day.
Right.
They're often working in teams, collaborating, bouncing ideas off each other.
I imagine that's crucial when you're dealing with like, these massive pieces of equipment.
Oh, absolutely. You need multiple brains on deck to make sure everything's right.
So you've got this like shared sense of purpose then.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And that can be really motivating, when you're all working toward the common goal.
So it's like that saying, teamwork makes the dream work.
Exactly. Especially when you're dealing with a 50-ton pressure vessel.
Right.
You don't
exactly.
want to mess that up.
Not at all.
No.
So how does someone even begin to build a career in this field?
But all starts with a solid foundation.
Okay, so we're talking education.
Exactly. RoleCatcher highlights a few different paths.
Okay.
Mechanical engineering, chemical engineering, material science.
Right. Those all sound relevant.
Yeah, you need to have that deep understanding of physics,
Okay.
thermodynamics, material properties.
Because if you don't understand like how materials behave under pressure,
Exactly. You're going to have a bad time.
right, your container might just, spring a leak or something.
Or wuss.
Yeah.
So yeah, those core engineering principles, they're central.
Okay, so a passion for building things is important.
Absolutely.
But so is, a solid grasp of science and math.
100%. You can't have one without the other in this field.
Right. It's like the perfect marriage of the two.
Exactly. You got to have that creativity, but also that analytical mind.
And speaking of analytical minds, what about those practical skills?
You mean like CAD software?
Exactly. Because I imagine these days you're not just drafting things by hand.
No way. You got to be a CAD wizard.
Right.
Luckily, a lot of degree programs, they incorporate CAD training right into the curriculum.
Oh, that's good. So you're kind of, hitting the ground running.
Exactly. And some programs even specialize in certain software.
Oh, wow. So you could become like a SolidWorks specialist or something.
Precisely. And that could be a huge advantage when you're applying for jobs.
Right. Because then you're not just saying like, oh, yeah, I know CAD.
You're like, I am the CAD master.
Right, exactly. I dream in SolidWorks.
There you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, having those certifications under your belt, that's huge.
So you ace your CAD courses, you've got your degree in hand, you're feeling good.
You're ready to conquer the world of container design.
Right. So what's next?
Well, RoleCatcher does a great job of breaking down those career stages.
Oh, yeah, they have that whole section on it.
Exactly. They talk about what you can expect as an entry-level engineer,
Okay.
what a junior engineer does, and then, of course, the senior level.
Okay, so it's like a roadmap for your career.
Exactly. It helps you visualize those steps.
So let's unpack that a little bit. What can someone fresh out of university expect as an entry-level container equipment design engineer?
Well, at that stage, it's all about learning the ropes.
Mm.
You're probably going to be doing a lot of assisting senior engineers.
Right.
Maybe some research, getting familiar with industry standards.
Right. So like paying your dues a little bit.
Exactly. But it's valuable experience.
Right, you're getting your foot in the door.
And building those connections.
Not working.
Exactly. You never know who you're going to meet.
So it's not all glamorous at first.
Not always.
Yeah.
But hey, every journey starts with a single step, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So then you move up to junior engineer. What changes?
So as a junior engineer, you're getting a bit more responsibility.
Okay, more on your plate.
Exactly. You might be entrusted with some independent design work.
Oh, wow. So they're really trusting you to...
Yeah, you're starting to spread your wings a bit.
That's exciting.
And you might even start collaborating with the production teams.
Oh, wow. So that's where it gets really real.
Exactly. You get to see your designs come to life.
That must be so cool.
It's really rewarding to see something go from a sketch on a page to an actual physical object.
And I bet you learn a lot from those interactions with the production team, too.
Oh, absolutely. They're the ones who are actually building these things.
Right.
So they can tell you what works, what doesn't.
It's one thing to design something on a computer.
Right.
It's another thing to actually see it, welded together, bolted together, whatever.
Exactly. You get that real world feedback.
That's so valuable.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're at the top of the mountain here. We've reached senior container equipment design engineer.
The pinnacle of the container world.
Right. What does that role entail?
So at that level, you're basically the boss.
Okay.
You're leading projects. You're mentoring those junior engineers.
Right.
You're overseeing the entire design process from start to finish.
Wow, so you've really seen it all and done it all.
Pretty much. You're like the Yoda of container design.
Right, exactly.
Sharing your wisdom with the young Padawans.
That's awesome. So you're not just designing containers anymore.
Right.
You're shaping the future of the field.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where it gets really exciting, because you can start to think about innovation.
Okay.
How can we make these containers even safer,
Right.
more efficient, more sustainable?
So there's always room for improvement.
Always. And that's what makes this field so dynamic.
And that actually brings us to another point that RoleCatcher highlighted.
Oh, yeah.
The importance of continuous learning.
Absolutely. Continuous learning is key in any engineering field.
Right. It's not like you just learn it once and you're good to go.
Exactly. This field is constantly evolving.
So what does that look like in practice for a container equipment design engineer?
We've got a few options.
Okay.
You can always go the traditional route, get a master's degree,
Right.
specialize even further.
Yeah, back to the books.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
But there are other ways to stay current, too.
Right.
Conferences, workshops, industry publications,
Okay.
and of course certification.
Right, because RoleCatcher, they mentioned those.
Yeah, they can be really valuable.
So it's about like formally expanding your skill set.
Precisely. It shows employers you're serious about your craft.
Are there any particular certifications that are like, really sought after in this field?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
First and foremost, you've got your PE license.
The professional engineer license.
That's the gold standard.
Okay.
It's not always required, but it opens a lot of doors.
So it's like a mark of distinction.
Exactly. It shows you've got the experience and the knowledge to handle the really big projects.
Under responsibility.
Exactly. Because with great containers comes great responsibility.
Oh, exactly. Spider-Man would be proud.
Haha, exactly. So yeah, the PE license, that's a big one.
Okay.
And then you've got your software-specific certifications.
Right, because we were talking about how important CAD is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So becoming a certified SolidWorks professional, for example,
Okay.
that can give you a real edge in the job market.
Makes sense.
It's all about demonstrating that expertise.
So you're not just saying, oh, yeah, I know how to use SolidWorks. You're saying, I'm a SolidWorks black belt.
Exactly. You're the go-to person for all things SolidWorks.
That's awesome. And then on top of that, you've got to stay updated on like industry regulations.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Those are constantly changing.
Right, because you don't want to design a perfectly good container and then it's like, oh, wait, there's a new rule that says we can't do that anymore.
Exactly. You got to stay ahead of the curve.
So it's a field that keeps you on your toes.
For sure. But that's part of the excitement.
Yeah, for the right person, it's got to be exhilarating.
Absolutely. It's like solving a puzzle every day, only the stakes are a little higher.
Right, exactly. Instead of just like, messing up a crossword puzzle, you might accidentally release a toxic gas into the atmosphere.
Let's try to avoid that.
Yeah, maybe let's stick to crosswords for fun.
Sounds good to me.
So we've talked about the challenges, the rewards, the need for constant learning.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We have. Any final words of wisdom for our listener who might be, thinking about taking the plunge into the world of container equipment design?
I'd say if you're passionate about science and engineering and you're not afraid of a challenge, this could be the perfect field for you.
Yeah, because it sounds like it takes a special kind of person.
It does. But those who are up for it, they find it incredibly rewarding.
Right, because you're not just, pushing paper around, you're actually making a tangible difference in the world.
Exactly. You're contributing to critical industries. You're helping to keep people safe and the environment clean.
What's not to love about that? Well said. I think that's a great place to wrap up this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure as always.
Until next time, everyone, keep those creative sparks flying and always remember,
Safety first.